Sometimes that could be because of anxiety, but most of the time it's because you're a human being and you don't need to label everything as a mental illness.
This applies beyond just mental illness. Any family member, any sibling, what are we speaking out? Oh, that's just how they are. You guys see, it will be a perpetual curse that we speak over them. Because if we're saying that, that means that we're not expecting anything to change.
Hey guys,
I'm Sarah.
I'm Caitlin.
And we are your best friends.
Welcome
to our channel.
Today we are talking about why you need to stop labeling everything as a mental illness or a disorder or any other type of label that people like to put on things. We are obsessed with labels.
How does somebody become wiser? Somebody tells them ways to become wiser. Somebody reads something that leads them to become wiser. 5 minutes ago, you were this amount of wise. Here, watching this video is a new level. If you want to have a healthy family, a healthy life, a good life, you want to watch this video.
And if you want to be free from depression, anxiety, all these things that you feel like you're burdened by, you need to watch this video.
You need to watch this video. But that's if that's what you want. Because what we're going to find is that actually a lot of you guys don't really want to be freed because your actions aren't showing it. Some of you guys find comfort and security in your label. You find comfort and security in what you know about yourself. And actually you're acting like you never want to be freed from it. So we're going to talk about this video because we love you. We care about you, and none of this is going to be new news, but it's going to be finally somebody talking about a huge habit that we have that we got to break free from if we want to speak life over our futures.
The spirit of offense is like a brick wall. We're trying to get life to you, we're trying to get truth to you, but if you've got this offense up, we're not going to be able to get anything through. So we love you guys. We don't want you to come into this video just ready to defend. We want you to remove any sort of offense and just start to see, because stuff might be hard to hear at first, but it's really going to help you. I know for things that I've dealt with in my life, it really helped me. So this video is really going to help you lift off the blinders. We are your friends and we love you. Before we get into this video, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We are almost at 1,600. No, we are at 1,600 subscribers. We love each and every one of you guys that comes on this channel. We love to speak life into you and help you navigate the journey of life. It's so amazing to see each and every one of you growing every day on this channel.
Yeah. Want to say labels are not bad. Labels can be freeing because now you have a solution. Like, okay, I've been feeling sick for a while. Well, thank goodness I found out the reason why is because maybe I have a thyroid thing going on. Maybe my stomach has an ulcer, and now I know why I've been feeling bad. The labels in it of itself are not bad.
A good example for me is when I dealt with my first panic attack. It was helpful for me to recognize that I was dealing with a panic attack. I didn't realize that's what it was at the time. It was helpful for me to realize that now I was dealing with anxiety. I didn't know that's what I was dealing with at the time. That label helped me because it helped me identify a pattern of what was going on in my life. The problem in our generation, and it's a problem that even I have been guilty of, is we are abusing these labels and we're finding security and comfort in a label. That's why we do it. So that now every time there's something that's just a little off about us or a little different or a little weakness that we have, we start to label it as some type of mental illness. Maybe you have an attachment disorder. Maybe you have this type of dissociative psychological disorder. Maybe that thing that's just kind of different about you is all of a sudden now it's your anxiety. We're abusing the labels and we're pretty much speaking over ourselves that we are mentally diseased all the time because of the plethora of information and therapists and all this psychological information that's out there. So I just want to give the example of my anxiety. It was good to know I was dealing with anxiety. What wouldn't be good though is now if every time I deal with a minor inconvenience about myself, let's say I check 3 times before I'm leaving my house. 3 times before I'm leaving my house, I go and I check and I make sure that I closed all the windows and that the stove was off. Do that 3 times. And now I say, oh, that's just my anxiety. I just have to do it that way. No, maybe I just am having a forgetful day.
And even more so what somebody's doing when they're doing that is they're not just labeling their life. Now they're saying what they have.
Yeah.
And we know that our tongues are like a rudder. It is their direction in which our life will go. And that's why we're saying the labels are not bad. Like if I got super sick, it would be so helpful to figure out what it was. What is the name of what is going on? I've recognized it. So labels help us recognize something. But it's now when I find comfort, security, and that label is all I am, it's all I'm ever gonna be, it's all I see, and it's the reason why I do all these things, that's when it becomes something you wanna be extremely aware of if you care about the direction of your life. I have a mom who I would say, the boys are just like this, and my brothers are just like this, and she'd say, no, they're not, don't speak that over my sons. And I thought she was crazy at times, but what she's saying is that my boys are heading in this direction, and I'm not gonna speak that over their lives, because I see who they're gonna be. And what's happening is nobody is telling us that we are speaking over our lives anxiety and depression, and every mental illness and disorder. And we find comfort and security in it because you know you do. So my question is, does our generation want to be set free from these things? Or are we happy that we finally know what it is and that's just who we're gonna be? Because I don't know about you, but if I started dealing with a mental disorder or mental illness, I would want the end goal to be that I don't have it anymore. And I think without realizing it, a lot of our actions are showing. Through our actions, maybe you might tell me that you want to be free, but your actions are saying that you actually want this thing to be with you for the rest of your life. And you might even want to pass it on to your kids too. If you don't change this, the second your kid starts doing something you do, guess what you might start doing? Oh yeah, Jimmy's got anxiety. Oh yeah, Jimmy's just like me, depressed.
So true.
And we are cursing ourselves and we're cursing our children. Do you want something to change? Your mouth is going to tell you if you actually do or not.
And if you don't think differently, you stay the same. So what's coming out of your mouth is all that you're thinking. I want to read to you guys a Instagram post from, I will not say the person's Instagram, but this is an anxiety therapist on Instagram. And this is the type of things that I see on TikTok, on Instagram all the time, and coming out of people's mouth all the time that we're kind of talking about, okay? 5 traits of high functioning anxiety is the post. Let me read to you some of the traits.
So she's gonna tell us if we have high functioning anxiety. This is how to know if you do.
Others find you hard to read. Okay.
I guess I have high functioning anxiety.
You have a tendency to overshare, then immediately regret it.
I definitely have high functioning anxiety then.
You have an inability to say no.
I definitely, because, I'm human, I guess I have high functioning anxiety.
You dwell on the negatives.
Naturally, yes.
You need a significant amount of praise.
Naturally, yes. Wait, this is, how many likes does this have?
16,000.
And how many followers?
This person has 63,000. Guys, a lot of these do not have anything to do with anxiety. They're just normal traits. But if you continue to label normal human errors in your life, like a need for praise, as anxiety,
high functioning anxiety,
guess what, baby? Every single aspect of your life is anxiety, and you're never going to be free, because look at all these little things that are supposedly anxiety. Human beings, because of our sinful nature, we want praise sometimes. Sometimes because we want to be close to people, we accidentally overshare sometimes. Sometimes that could be because of anxiety, but most of the time it's because you're a human being and you don't need to label everything as a mental illness. Not every aspect of your personality is because there's something inherently wrong with you. That's what's the problem here. It's not always just because you're just deeply mentally ill. It might just be because you're a human and you got flaws, and if you label it as anxiety, you're chaining yourself to anxiety. Yeah. We don't want that.
If you really struggle with things that are aside from the norm, none of this video is invalidating what you feel.
No.
Because nobody can invalidate, let's say, your emotions. What we want for you, though, is to see a future where you don't have this anymore. Can you see it? Or are you too scared to see that? Does it make you more comfortable to see your future with your disorder rather than hoping that you will have a life without it? I relate to you for sure. Like, I would be scared to hope for something better. But I want to ask you that. If you have something that's very real, you've gone to doctors, you've taken medication, you've had people pray for you, everything. Our hearts are for you. All this video is wanting to do, though, is get one thing in check, and that's what are you speaking over yourself. And in a second, in this video, I'm gonna talk about a very significant story in the Bible, how it correlates to what's going on. But we want to ask, what are you speaking? Because if you want to be free, you're not going to say that this is who you are and this is just what you have. And you're not going to joke about it all the time. And you're not going to relate to it all the time. When somebody wants to be set free, they say that's not who I am. When somebody's comfortable in something, they joke about it all day long and they find comfort in it and they tell everybody, I have this, I have this, I have this.
That's just because of this. That's just...
Yes. So a lot of it could even be from lighthearted habits, all right? It could even be as simple as that. But we're just telling you that those who are seeking a healthy life, it requires healthy and serious effort. It doesn't come on accident. It might actually come with being intentional about how we speak.
This isn't just limited to anxiety. That's like the easiest example we can give. On Instagram and TikTok, you will constantly find these therapists. And guess what, guys? They have a label and a pattern for everything in your life. So if you want to label everything in your life, which I have done, so I'm not even judging you for doing it. I've been guilty of this, of finding things is wrong with me and finding comfort as, oh, well, I'm just this highly sensitive person. I just have emotional abandonment issues. I just have this. The label's helpful, but now what happens when we abuse it? Let's say that I identify, fine, I have abandonment issues, okay? It's a helpful healing process in my life. I discover some patterns that are unhealthy, but now what if every time that I make a mistake with a friend or I struggle being vulnerable, I just throw my hands up and I say, that's just my abandonment issues. Or every time I have a little quirk or a little difference, I'm saying, oh, there's my abandonment issues again. I'm really believing that's all that I am, and that's all that can control my relationships if I'm constantly taking everything under the lens of this label. So it's not that the label of abandonment issues, it's bad. It's when I'm literally abusing it and I can't see the light. All I see is that's just my blank. And even a really good example is we were at a camp and this sweet little girl went to speak up on stage and she was so nervous. So the first thing that comes out of her mouth is, I'm sorry guys, I'm so nervous. That's just my social anxiety.
Before she spoke anything.
In front of a crowd of over 100 people. Now she might very well have social anxiety or she feels like she struggles to get close with friends, but because she's so used to labeling everything, she's thinking that that's social anxiety. Everybody's nervous speaking in front of 100 people. That's not your social anxiety. That's a normal human thing. And bless her heart, it's not like she knows any better. It's just what our generation is training us to do. And how is that going to help her be better at speaking on stages? She doesn't believe that she can do that without being nervous because she believes that's just my social anxiety.
You're saying that this applies beyond just mental illness, and you're 100% right. This applies if you have like issues in your body, if you constantly break out, or if you have stomach issues, or if you have any physical issue, any family member, any sibling. What are we speaking out? Oh, that's just how they are. You guys see, it will be a perpetual curse that we speak over them. Because if we're saying that, that means that we're not expecting anything to change. So that's what we want you to see. That's what we want you to just see through this video. Is, are you expecting things to change or are you not? Really cool story in the Bible, okay? It's Abraham. God promised Abraham that Abraham would be the father of a multitude of nations. And when God promised that to Abraham, Abraham was about 75 years old. How could he be a father of a multitude of nations, though, if his wife Sarah hadn't even had one child? But that's what God told him would happen. until he was 95 or above, God finally changed Abraham's name, which was Abram, to Abraham, which meant Abram meant something like the father leader, something like that. And he changed it to the father of a multitude of nations. So now whenever Abraham met people, he would have to literally, this Hebrew names have such a huge significance. He would literally say multiple times a day, hi, I am the father of a multitude of nations. That's how you meet people.
That's literally what
that was
Abraham
your name.
meant.
Yes, that's what it meant. That's what he was speaking. And so 20 years passed since he was 75, no kids. Once God changed Abraham's name to father of a multitude of nations, we see that within the next year, his wife is pregnant. The only thing that changed was that he now had to start speaking over the promise of God over his life. And what I see is kind of like in this culture, in this generation, take this how you want, but it's true. It's almost like the devil took that concept, which he does it a lot. He takes God's good concepts and he twists it into like a demonic twisted way to ruin our lives. Okay, that's almost what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because the good promise of God came through God changing Abraham's name. Now Abraham has to identify as the father of a multitude of nations. Mm-hmm. And the same thing's happening in our culture, but in the demonic twisted way. Hi, my name's Sarah. I have social anxiety. I have this. I'm sick here, and my family, we all have this kind of issue. That's who I am. And I speak it over and over, and nothing will ever change. And then I have children, and I teach them to speak in the same way. So take that how you want, but that's what's going on. The labels aren't bad, because God labeled Abraham as the father of a multitude of nations. It's what we're speaking. It's the way that we're speaking it, and it's why. And are we even thinking about our words? It's because we love you so much, we're willing to make a video like this to get you to possibly be unblinded by a habit that maybe you just never saw before. But all I know is that because we love you so much, we want you to have a healthy marriage, healthy friendships. We want you to be successful in all you do and give glory to God. We want you to have wonderful children that you raise up to love their life and to not struggle with mental disorders. And because we love you and that's what we want for you, we're doing this video because life isn't going to change otherwise. 2 + 2 will always be 4, baby. Unless you add something to it. So you talking the way you are now, that's just going to equate whatever you're talking, how you look right now. We got to change something up.
If you have a label in your life or multiple labels in your life, one, chill on all the extra labels, okay? Minor inconveniences in your life, minor traits about personalities. Let's kind of stop labeling those things as disorders. But if you have big things in your life, like depression, like bipolarness, like real labels that have helped you identify something that you're genuinely struggling with, that's okay. But stop speaking over your life. We don't want you to be in denial, but just practice in the little moments, not blaming that label for everything in your life, not constantly letting it be on your tongue. It's common these days to see a sweatshirt that says anxiety on it with the heart, or like stickers that say I have depression and a cute smiley face. Like, it's so normal, yet no one's recognizing it. All we're asking you to do, don't be in denial about the things that you struggle with. That's not what we're asking. Depression can be real. Anxiety can be real. What we're asking is just start paying attention to how you speak and stop speaking over yourself these disorders. For me, I just dealt with anxiety for the past 2 years. If I keep saying that everything has to do with my anxiety, I will have anxiety again. Why? Because I'm fulfilling the prophecy.
Yeah.
We're not asking you to be in denial. Just start taking note of the little comments you make and start to make a change, because this label is not who you are. This disorder is not who you are. This struggle is not who you are.
Yeah, ask yourself, what do I want? Because if I had depression, if I struggled with something like that, I would start saying, I don't want this. I want God to heal me. I'm going to get better. I got to get better. I would pray every day, God, help me with this. And even if it doesn't get better in the moment, I'm definitely not going to be joking about it, making memes and relating to it and telling everybody that this is what I have. I would start saying, I'm waiting for a miracle. I'm just waiting for the day that I don't have this. I'm definitely not going to find comfort and security in it. And when Caitlin was going through her anxiety, I was the last one to ever label her stuff as anxiety. If she came to me like, do you think this is this? I'm like, buddy, your heart's doing this. You're going to be okay. You're going to make it through this, right? Like, we elevate these problems more than we elevate God and reality sometimes.
And I think that's why even we have a generation now that it's offensive to say, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with depression, like, to pray about it, because they take it as like, and I know I used to say, well, are you saying I'm not praying enough because I have this? No.
Yeah, sensitive.
So sensitive. But if you don't believe that prayer is going to help you, it isn't going to help you. I'm sorry to break that to you. And for a long time, I maybe thought that prayer wasn't going to help me and I just needed to rely on this, this, and this. It's the same thing with everything in our life. If you don't think it's going to help, then you're speaking that. It's not going to help. Prayer does help. We're just so sensitive to things.
So let's stop speaking death over ourselves. Let's stop speaking death over our family members and the people in our lives. I just don't want to hear, oh, I'm just like this or they're just like that.
Exactly.
We're human. We're going to do it on accident sometimes. But you got to understand the tongue has the power of life and death.
It's the rudder.
And when you love people and when you love yourself, you're not going to want to speak death over yourself. So that's what we have for you guys in this video. We love you so much.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Yep. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.